Thanks for tuning into another edition of OJ in the Morning. I'm Johnny Matthew alongside Owen Shadrick. We got another jam-packed episode for you this week. Keep my podcast out of your mouth. Let's roll. I'm still loving I went with the OJ theme this week. I'm still loving the theme song. That's not going to change anytime soon in my mind. Owen, what's going on?
Nothing much. We're doing more things. We got baseball coming up in a week. We'll have a baseball preview next week, but this week we're going to talk some tournament. We're going to talk some Oscars. Obviously, we got to talk about that moment. And we got a new segment this week, but we'll get to that a little later in the show.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to like this segment more than a beer when you ain't 21 yet, more than a Colorado sunset.
I think so.
And then, of course, we're going to talk some Final Four, like you said, specifically Duke UNC. But first, what is your star congratulations of the week?
My star congratulations goes to not even old friend, current enemy of the Boston Celtics, Kyrie Irving, who publicly said he will re-sign with the Nets. Where have we heard that one before? So congratulations, Kyrie, for saying you're going to re-sign somewhere, because who knows where you'll be in 2 months.
So congratulations to Nets fans. And no, it's funny you bring that up.
Congratulations to Nets fans for believing it too.
It's both, right?
It's both.
Because it's nobody knows, one. Two, it's funny you bring up the old friend comment, because when Danny Ainge traded for him, I wasn't too great with it. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, we're getting this guy. Because it was like,
me either, because they traded him.
We were rooting. Right. Yes. Zoom in. We were rooting against this guy actively for 5 years? If you combine the Duke years, because a lot of people don't root for Duke up here. I'll tell you that. We'll get to that later in the show. But that's true. A lot of people don't root for Duke up here. And then he goes to this team that we were rooting against forever, and we were rooting against him and against him and against him. And he was the enemy. And then right when he got here, he was the enemy again.
Yep.
So that's a good one. But if you haven't heard yet, he will be active during home games. He's allowed to play under New York City Mayor Eric Adams' rules that he pulled back or allowed an exception to. I'm not sure. I didn't go that deep in. All I know is he's allowed to play. Aaron Judge and Anthony Rizzo are allowed to play as Yankees fans.
I was just going to, my next comment was that interesting timing, right when baseball gets back now.
Right when the biggest team of all time, the biggest.
Now it's lifted.
Yeah, it's, well, because the thing is, and we'll briefly before I get to my segment, but the thing is, Judge and Rizzo wouldn't have been allowed to play around 90 games if you factor in the games in Toronto that they still won't be allowed to play. The Red Sox, I believe, are still under the 85% threshold that MLB imposed last year. I'm not sure exactly what it is this year. But the Red Sox have a couple guys, too, that when they are in Toronto at the Rogers Center, will, as of right now, not be allowed to play under whether it's Trudeau's rule or Canada's rule. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, that is. And, we saw the hoopla about Canada's rules, with that whole trucker thing a couple months ago. That kind of went away. And now I don't know, it might come up again when you see these stars not being able to play on the road. I don't know if you have anything. I just wanted to inform those who don't know.
It's my thing was the timing of it all is very interesting and laughable, but it is.
But it not is to take away from, that's one of my favorite star congratulations of the week that he said. Favorite star congratulations of the podcast so far in its short life. That Kyrie. I mean, we could do this whole podcast on Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
My congratulations of the week is to the Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid for a couple years ago. Once upon a time when this man named Tom Brady was the quarterback of the New England Patriots. That is why I was number 12 that year. They proposed the a new NFL overtime rule. It's allowed both teams to touch the ball. Then this year, they benefit from the rule after, 40 points were scored? 20 plus points were scored in the last minute 30 of the AFC divisional round game between the Bills and the Chiefs, and the Chiefs benefited from that. And then, it comes back again like, oh, hey, let's let both teams touch the ball. Now both teams are going to be able to touch the ball in the playoffs in NFL overtime. So congratulations to the Chiefs for, I don't know. It's like you
Yeah.
guys got what you wanted, but
You got what you
benefited
wanted,
from
but it also
too.
helped you. Yeah.
So who
What are your
knows?
thoughts? What are your thoughts on the rule? I don't know. I think I'm okay with it being just
I
postseason.
I
Definitely.
think playoffs you need to let both teams touch it.
I agree. I think I like it in the playoffs, but I'm happy that it's staying the way it is in the regular season because
But it's not one of these crazy like
no, it's not a blow your mind
remember was
rule.
it Donovan McNabb that was like, I didn't know you could tie in the NFL. Well, you should know the rules. Like it was something like that, but or maybe it was one of the who's the Steelers running back this year, the Alabama kid, Najee
Najee
Harris.
Harris.
He may have said something this year like, I didn't know you could tie. Well, it's like, hey, it's kind of happened actually in the last few years, so pay attention. But
Steelers
I,
tied the
I'm
Lions
I'm all
this year.
for I'm all for MLB. I don't like the second man on second rule, but they can do a little home run derby after 12 innings or something like that. I wouldn't be opposed to that in the regular season. I think, there needs to be some more thought into that, but NFL games don't last forever.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
there's
hot
a
on it.
weird
Yeah,
there's a weird non-football thing that happens. There's a weird non-hockey thing that happens. In basketball, it's very rare, so they don't need to worry about it. But
yep.
I think it's in playoffs. You need to play it normal. You need to. They should just continue the game. And then, yeah, I mean, you can't play 2 games of football. It's a lot different than those hockey long games. But
Oh yeah.
hockey players are built different as well. What about your surprise of the week?
My surprise of the week next weekend, April 7th, the TD Garden will host the very famous, very fun Frozen Four. Defending national champion UMass Minutemen will not be there, and neither will any New England teams, which I was very surprised about. Michigan will face Denver, and Minnesota State will face Minnesota. Not surprised about the teams that made it. Just I know that Quinnipiac was good all year. Obviously, UMass was good all year. Northeastern puts up a good fight. It's just interesting that no New England teams are fighting for the championship when it's taking place in Boston. Just thanks.
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of like the Madden jinx or the Super Bowl,
Yeah,
home team jinx that is no longer actually in the NFL. But yeah, it's funny. Not only the Hockey East, but New England was well represented, with AIC also being
of course.
in the Allentown region in the Frozen Four. I thought UMass was gonna get there. Was
We're
especially
up. We are up 3-1.
and then
We're
they
up
would have
three
had
one.
bragging rights over the Boston schools playing, doing it at the Garden. I know our good friend Josh Cummins is going to be there. Follow him on Twitter. He writes for the New England Hockey Journal amongst his other many hats he wears. I'll definitely be paying attention to that. I was thinking about getting a press pass to that actually, but I think I'm going to be playing Coast Guard over there that day, so I will not be back in time. Um, Anywho, yeah, UMass title defense is no longer.
Unfortunate.
They got a new basketball coach though.
Yes, they did. We'll
And
see.
thoughts, statement.
I believe in him more than I believed in the old guy. So that's
Oh
something.
wow,
I
that's
mean,
a hot take, Owen.
I belief is a very hard thing to come by when it comes to UMass athletics. But I don't know. They're putting something together. They're getting guys with good experience to try and lead our football and basketball program. So we'll see what happens.
Especially with a former UMass Minuteman with that crazy first round exit, letting St. Peter's carry on their
Johnny C.
Cinderella. Coach Cal, of course, that is for Kentucky. My surprise of the week is this weekend. Number 1, Tennessee, who just came off a sweep of former number 1 Ole Miss baseball, is facing 3/9th ranked Vanderbilt Commodores.
A very big difference.
Yes, I know,
3-9.
but there are a bunch of college baseball rankings and D1 college baseball rankings, and yeah, you just put what you can to sell tickets and hype up the matchup. And this matchup does not need to be hyped up though. Like I said, Ole Miss just got swept by Tennessee. Ole Miss was number one. Tennessee rightfully took that over after sweeping them. But my surprise is tickets this weekend are going for $200 to $300.
Damn. A lot of
College
money.
baseball, regular season, first week of April.
Let's go.
Huge SEC matchup. Vandy just, after coming off of an 18-game win streak, lost the series to South Carolina. So that's always, a classic SEC baseball matchup. Chase Dollander for Tennessee just got SEC Pitch of the Week for throwing 6.1 scoreless. That is not Ben Joyce, who throws 104 miles per hour out of the Tennessee bullpen. Would you like me to repeat that? What did I just say?
Ben Joyce, 104, Tennessee bullpen.
104 miles per hour. That is not with a drive line underweighted baseball. That's
Can you
not
throw 104?
That's not a tennis serve. He's throwing that off the bump in college. But then over for Bandy, our guy Dominic Keegan is Methuen native, right? He's hitting 422.
Dom Rakes, baby.
So this is going to be crazy weekend. Spencer Jones, who entered Vandy as a two-way, he's one of their top hitters too. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night's on ESPN2. I think the other two are on SEC Network. One of those is competing with the Final Four, which we'll talk about later. But I mean, $200 to $300.
It's crazy. That'll be good to watch on
awesome.
ESPN2, though.
I hate it and love it. It's like, oh, I'll let the kids in, but it's also like
it's quite surprising.
It's people want to go out and see some college baseball down south.
Yep.
What about your exactly what we thought of the week?
As you mentioned, we are going to be talking about Final Four plenty. I didn't predict this in my bracket, but I probably should have. In Coach K's last year at Duke, of all teams that he could have gotten for his Final Four matchup, he gets North Carolina.
First time ever.
You could have written that because, in my opinion, I should have thought of it because it's exactly what I would have thought going into this tournament. But those two would face off one more time.
This brings up the whole bit. If you brought that to Hollywood, they'd kick you right out.
Yep.
They'd spit you up and chew you up and spit you out.
They probably would anyway, but
no, it's crazy. I'm going to save my thoughts for when we talk about that later. I have some crunchy numbers that are crunched, and I think it's just it is nuts that
it's crazy
that it's the first time ever they're meeting in March Madness. My exactly what we thought of the week is NHL player safety over punishing Boston Bruins. They usually do it to my guy, Brad Marchand, but this time they're doing it to Taylor Hall. He was fined the max under the CBA, $5,000 for getting hit. He got hit from behind, or in the head, or however you want to dice up the replay. And then he grazed the Maple Leaf player's face, and he flopped and hurt his back off of getting hit in the jaw with his fingertips. So I don't know. But people went crazy, and the Bruins, he's teammates with. I think honestly, being teammates with Brad Marchand has something to do with that.
I agree.
So it's like, I don't know, clean it up, fix it, but it'll be a problem for years to come. But I expected that. I expected an overreaction. It's like, oh my gosh, he flopped. All right, this is going to get something too much. You can't be surprised at this point about stuff like that.
No, hell no.
My disappointment of the week is, it's looking like I'm disappointed for Baker Mayfield. It's looking like if Watson, the way that contract was structured, all these suits he's not in the exempt list, and the commissioner's exempt list because these are civil suits, but it's like, so you're really telling me 22 women are lying here? I don't know. Either way, his contract is structured so he's not making very much money at all this year in case of a suspension, it seems like. And they still have Baker under contract who requested a trade, but they might not deal him. They might deal him before the draft or right after the draft. But I'm disappointed for Baker if he needs to play again. If he needs to start the year in Cleveland, because it's just an awful situation.
I agree. And it's just, he gets not like, so it all started. Cleveland has interest in Watson. They lose out on that interest. Baker requests a trade. Then they end up trading for Watson after Baker's like, oh, maybe this is a thing. And then he's like, get me out of here. And they still haven't. So it's just, I feel so bad for him. I feel so bad for him.
Well, in the whole like interest, no interest thing, like they had interest the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just how whatever Schefter says, he's just used as a toy for these guys to,
Yeah.
put out their leaks. What about you? What's your disappointment?
My disappointment of the week comes from the NBA, specifically the Boston Celtics, where a big loss happened in our game on Monday. Robert Williams is out for 4 to 6 weeks. He should be back on the closer side of 4 to 6, so we could see him for the second round of the playoffs. But the way the Celtics are rolling and the way that they've been playing the last couple of weeks, it is a big loss. Not that I don't think they can fill that loss, but he just is a different animal when the Celtics are a different animal when Rob Williams is on the court.
Yeah, so it's probably not going to be a month. It'll probably be a little longer, but the second round it's not too much of a stretch, right?
No, it's not.
So the problem is if they're the 2 seed and the Nets come out of the play-in as a 7 seed, that would be a very hard first round exit. And then we wouldn't get to see Robert Williams. And we'd have to do this all again next year because, like I said, the regular season doesn't matter.
Yeah, and here's the thing too is Ime has made it very clear that the Celtics don't really care about seeding. They're just trying to stay healthy for the playoffs. So I'm expecting guys like Horford and even Tatum and Brown to maybe take a few nights off here and there. And
they just took the night off against Toronto and
exactly, and we almost won, but basically a G League team.
Marcus and the bench took them to OT.
So I have confidence in this team to get a good position in the playoffs and make a run, regardless.
So I'm with Ime here, where it's like Coach Ime Udoka. He's my good friend. We call each other, yeah.
Your buddy.
No, I'm with Udoka here because you don't know what the Nets are going to do in the play-in.
No.
So you can't try to be the 1 seed if the Nets are locked in as a 7 or vice versa.
And obviously, so the Celtics they haven't clinched officially the playoff spot yet. So they're getting there. They're actually winning. They're up against Miami right now. That game's live. We're recording at 8:30 here on Wednesday. But the Celtics need to beat the good teams down the stretch. But if they have a night off against Indiana or I don't know, whoever else comes to town, maybe, or we face Orlando again.
But I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that too. Win the big games, prove that you're the big dog against the big guys, clinch your playoff spot, but don't worry about seeding unless you fall into the play-in game.
No, they're not gonna.
I don't think they will. So focus on securing a playoff spot 1 through 6, and then just do it.
Yep. Albert Pujols signed with the St. Louis Cardinals. He's back for his not hometown team, but you could call it the
his homegrown team.
Homegrown team. First time he stepped in the box today in a Cardinals uniform for the first time since 2011. And I just think that's awesome. And I know we talk about it all the time. I know we talk about whether it's Lester or
Brock Holt.
Brady, but Brock Holt,
Isaiah.
Anybody. Isaiah Thomas. Yes, keep going. I love when stuff like that happens. And I'm a huge Albert Pujols fan. And I think it's hey, the Cardinals, they're always kind of there too. They're a fun team. They play at a gorgeous field. Can't wait for baseball to start. Can't wait for opening day next week. You'll hear a lot more about that from us next week. It's cool to see Pujols back in St. Louis.
Oh, it's unreal. And when you get the news that there was rumors that they're talking, it's like, oh, can it actually happen? And it does. And that is a good Cardinal team. They got Goldschmidt, they got Arenado. They're going to make noise, and having Pujols as a bench bat. And now, of course, there's universal DH. So he's going to fit pretty well into that team, whether it's as a veteran voice or a veteran bat. So, and like you said, we have Rich Hill back. Like seeing him pitch for the Red Sox again is awesome. Awesome.
I feel like it's also obviously the Dodgers home grow a lot of their talent, but I feel like when they get these free agents and stuff, it's not like as genuine seeing like Scherzer in a Dodger uniform or Bauer or Pujols or now Freddie Freeman. It's like, all right, this is kind of getting old. It's not like cool anymore that, oh my gosh, you're teaming up Freddie Freeman with
Mookie,
Turner and Oh, and they got Trey Turner and Justin Turner, and it's kind of getting old. It's
It's
kind of
getting real
turning
old.
like the Yankees, and they're not nearly as hated as the Yankees, even though I know, and we played them in the World Series and blah blah blah. But it's like, all right, yeah, congrats. You got Walker Buehler and Dustin May and Justin Turner, and but it's like, all right, then half your team you just
Yeah, half your team you're dropping loads of money on or trading for. It's not what baseball's supposed to be.
it's really making it not as fun.
Agreed.
And I'm not hating. I'm just saying it's
No,
not.
I'm not like
I'm not like, oh, I'm not mad about. It's just it's not as
no, because
fun.
they lose anyway.
I wish these guys. Yeah, and they have one title to show for it in the last 34 years.
Yep.
1988 to 2022 is 34 years. So it's just not as fun. I'm not hating on it. I hate on the Yankees. That's allowed. The Yankees fans are allowed to hate on the Red Sox.
Yep.
And you don't need to be called like, oh, you're a hater on Twitter. You're just mad. It's like, no, I'm not
No,
mad. I'm
I
not hating.
genuinely don't like
It's
them.
just not as fun, and it's boring that way actually.
Yep.
And school and the Padres do it because they don't do it as much.
Yeah.
You
They
ran
don't.
out of
Yeah,
cool.
they're diving in
Dodgers,
trying to
Dodgers, you ran out of cool.
up.
How do you do LA?
That's how exactly how they ran out of cool. Nice.
LA
Go on.
upside down, like the horns down.
Yeah.
Um, was there an award show this weekend?
Apparently. Well, here's there was a slap this weekend. I don't know if the actual award show happened, but I know there was a slap.
I don't know if the award show. Actually, I know the award show happened because the guy who slapped then won the best award of the night,
Yeah.
which happens. Could you imagine if
Talk to me.
if Johnny Manziel goes up and slaps Reese Davis like at the Heisman ceremony?
Yep.
Could you imagine if Cale McCarr goes up and slaps?
Or like
Dave
Dave Roberts slaps Joe Buck announcing the Braves as the World Series champions.
No, but he won the award.
Oh, he won the award.
Best
Okay.
actor. Will Smith. And it's funny because it's like,
oh, that's what you okay. Well, I mean, it happened. Obviously, the slap happened before the
right, but then
it's not like it was a subsequent.
Like what if early on in the night?
Oh, if he won and then slapped him, that would have been like.
But he slapped him and then won.
I think that's worse. That's a lot worse.
And then the yelling, the keep my wife's name out your mouth was just so odd too. It's like
so
Rock was like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
This is getting a little weirder. Like when the yelling's weirder than the actual, slap, it's like, okay.
Okay, buddy.
So we're gonna do this the only way we know how. What's the name of our show, Owen?
OJ in the morning.
OJ Simpson, best known for being a Bills running back. So from Jezebel.com, OJ Simpson. Headline: OJ Simpson. Will Smith was, quote, wrong for slapping Chris Rock. There have been a whole lot of incredibly obtuse, mind-boggling, ridiculous takes on the Will Smith slap this week that have truly made my brain bleed out of my ears, but I finally found it, the most ridiculous of them all. On Tuesday afternoon, OJ said, if I did it... Oh, sorry, I read this. OJ Simpson entered the chat. This is an article from Laura Bassett. All right, so here's OJ. Quote, it was unfortunate, Simpson said, claiming everyone who has been asking him to weigh in on the issue. I think Will was wrong. Look, I understood the feeling. In my life, I've been through a lot of crap, and I was raising 2 young kids, and every comedian in the country had an OJ routine. And don't think I wouldn't want to slap a couple of those guys, but it's humor. I didn't think the joke was at all that egregious. So it's like, I don't even know what side this OJ guy's on here. I just love when he weighs in on stuff. Not in a good way. It's just.
I would just like to comment that we in no way named our show after that man. Just saying.
No, it's our initials, and the in the morning part is paying homage to Maddie in the morning, of course.
Yeah, and orange juice is drank in the morning too.
Yes, and Bruce Arians just retired.
Really? Live?
Well, we're not live as you guys are listening, but live as we're recording. So
Bruce Arians just retired.
So that's why Tom Brady came back. Credit to Jeff Darlington.
Wow.
He's moving into the front office, which means nothing for Tom Brady. Actually means good things for Tom Brady. I mean,
Todd Bowles is now the head coach.
not Leftwich.
Todd Bowles now became the 4th minority head coach in Buccaneers history, 2 more than any other team.
So that just allows Leftwich then to work on the O with Brady.
Yep.
My goodness gracious. Do we have any breaking news sound effects you can add in here? Also breaking news, Seton Hall finally announced Shaheen Holloway, the St. Peter's coach. That was bound to happen. That was obvious. That's my second exactly what we thought of the week. But as I look up a couple of Bruce Arians tweets here, this was all not surprising.
The Bruce Arians thing?
Actually, it's great that it's happening while we are recording.
Yeah, recording.
In a panic. No, because that just means Brady won't get those trade rumors will stop. Dale Arnold, former EEI host, longtime Boston radio show host, and he still does the Bruins pregame postgame stuff on Nesson. He had the rumor that Brady might try to go further south
to Miami
last week.
I was
and
like,
that was also rumored the first time around, but I think it was all just to try to get Bruce Arians out of there.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is kind of what I said the first time when he initially retired twice.
It's crazy.
Right? So
sorry, I wasn't listening. Repeat
that. This is what I was trying to say the first time when he retired. The first when he retired.
Oh yeah.
It was like, well, maybe it's because of Arians.
I mean,
it didn't get along. I said what the narrative was.
Brady comes back and Arians retires 2 weeks later. That's not a surprise.
Mm-mm.
That's not a surprise.
Amidst
clearly there was something there.
Who was leaking what and stuff like that. So yeah, it wasn't happening. And Bruce Arians, I'll say it again on the podcast, he's not very accomplished. He did great things with Peyton Manning as his QB. He did great things with Tom Brady as his QB. I can do that too.
You can?
Yes. If I have Todd Bowles coaching my defense and Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady running my offense,
you're going to be pretty good, I think.
I can win a Super Bowl. I guarantee it.
Win a Super Bowl for OJ in the morning.
Well, I could have just stepped in and be like, oh, I would have challenged a couple plays. I wouldn't have worn the mic pack on the chest like that. That would have been too annoying.
Yeah.
I probably would have got the belt. What else would I have done? I would have complimented Brady more.
Yeah, I think so.
I would have probably yelled at the defense a couple times, yelled at my team actually would have been more disciplined, not as many penalties.
Okay.
Because I don't want Brady to have to worry about that.
No, of course not.
One of the most penalized teams in the league, at times.
You can't be doing that.
And fixed it. So my team wouldn't have gotten that bad. No, but seriously though, like people saw this coming.
Yeah.
And good for Todd Bowles. He'll get another shot. And I wonder why it wasn't Byron Leftwich.
I think
do you think he's just letting
I think it's just because
with Brady?
Well, I think they're trying to go more. I think they're trying to go more defensive minded at the head coach position because of how secure they are on offense. That's what I think.
Yeah, and let them.
And plus, I think Bowles was also due for a job too.
But you know what I mean? Like they just let Leftwich.
Yeah, let Leftwich.
They specialize.
Do his thing.
Keep my offensive coordinator out of your mouth, Owen.
Okay.
Can we get a drop for that? If SNL was smart, they'd do the whole show just on that.
I fully expect
slap in the face skit. Yeah, we have some other NFL notes before we get to some other stuff. Might as well just drop them now. Jabril Peppers.
Jabril Peppers is a Patriot.
I'm for it.
I am too.
I like it.
I think they're going to just throw a bunch of people out there and hope that they can cover. They're just going to play zone. They're not playing man on hill.
It'll be weird at first. That's
stuff.
Fine. And then hopefully they mesh as we get into, November, and then they play the best football after Thanksgiving.
Hell yeah.
Robert Kraft came out this week and said he wasn't, he gets it. They haven't won a playoff game in 3 seasons. And that was very weird when he said that, because I was like, oh my gosh, like, you don't need to apologize for anything.
Yeah, like please
You
don't.
brought me everything I am.
Yeah.
Like, thank you. Like,
Thank you.
stop.
Thank
It's
you.
okay. I know you're trying. What a guy though. That's why we love him. Is it time for a little shakeup?
New segment.
Rankings?
We're calling it rank 'em.
What are we
Rank
calling it?
'em.
Rank them.
Rank 'em. We're just gonna rank random things. That's
What are we
pretty.
starting off with?
I mean, we got to start off with our guy,
Our dude.
Morgan Wallen, our favorite country artist. We'll be seeing him in a couple months. Can't wait for that. But we're gonna rank his in our opinion, his top 10 best songs.
All right, give me 10 to 5 for you, and I'll give you mine.
Number 10, Living the Dream. It's a great song. A little sad, but it feels very meaningful. Number 9, Your Bartender, which has become more prominent this week as I have started to become a bartender. That's a whole different issue. Number 8, If I Ever Get You Back. That was one of my original favorites by him. Number 7 is our personal travel song, Silverado for Sale. And number 6 is Talkin' Tennessee from his first album. That's my 6 through 10.
Talking Tennessee is an honorable mention for me. He's just come out with too many bangers since then.
Yep.
Usually I lean towards those ones, the OGs.
You got a couple on here.
I definitely have some OGs, but usually I try to put a couple extra because it's like, oh, well, that's where, it's where he made the name, and then boom. But
Yep.
number 10, I have Neon Eyes.
Great
Number
song.
9, Chasing You. Number 8, Little Rain. I don't play that enough because I'm scared I'm going to jinx the weather. That's stupid, but
It's fair. It's fair.
I don't know. That's the only reason I don't play that as much. Number 7, this is a little low, little high. Not ranked high enough probably, but number 7, I have Sand in My Boots. Number 6, Only Thing That's Gone. That's his banger with Chris Stapleton. And I'll kick off the top 5 with More Surprised Than Me.
Yeah, I was looking at your list and I had to leave out a lot of these songs, but just some of these others have meant more to me. Number 5, I have This Bar from his new album. It's my 5.
That's one of those that could be top 5, but it didn't make the list
Exactly.
for me. Number 4, I have The Way I Talk. I play that one volume and it is on the max.
That's one of my honorable mentions because that was the song that got me into him. So shout out to that, but that's not on this list, unfortunately. Number 4, I have This Side of a Dust Cloud, which is one of the last songs he released from his double album, and it's a very good song.
Number 3, I have Whiskey Glasses. That's like When It Rains It Pours, it's the OG. It has to be top 3 for me.
Yeah, it didn't make it for me, but
I know.
it's in my honorable mentions for sure. 3, I have Only Thing That's Gone, so we do share that. We do share one of 2 songs. We'll get to that in a minute, but that's my number 3.
All right, the moment is approaching. What is your number 2?
Number 2 is 7 Summers, which I listened to every day when it came out, and it just continues to go.
I did too, and these other ones I think overtook it. Maybe it's because he has multiple songs like that, but
yeah,
number 2 for me is More Than My Hometown.
Of course.
And that is something I play one volume and it's up as well. And number 1, you already mentioned it earlier. I just crank Silverado for Sale all the time.
Yeah, that song is synonymous.
Not anonymous.
It's not anonymous. I don't know the word, but when I hear that song, I think of our drives to Vermont and every other Futures League field last summer. It was a great song. Number 1 for me is Need a Boat because it is just such a banger of a song.
Yeah.
That's my all the way up, cranking down the highway. That's my favorite song right now, period.
See, with him, I can put the slow songs in there. I can put the fast with Luke. I am pro fast country song.
Yeah, we'll do Luke soon as well. But
with Luke and Morgan, it's like, everything is, you can play it loud and proud. That was our first edition of Rank 'em. Yeah. What, two songs were similar?
Yes, we had Only Thing That's Gone. I had it at 3. You have it at 6, and then Silverado for sale. I had it at 7. You have it at
Did you
number
say that my
1.
boots in there?
I did not.
Damn.
I know it's so tough to leave some of these off, but I'm very comfortable.
Top. Oh wait, all right, we have it up here. Wow. Yeah. No, I mean, but it's not. Well, my list is right, obviously, but and yours is wrong, but
I just don't think that's how it works. Here's the thing that I like about both of our lists is there's what we said there's 2 songs similar, so there's 16 songs on here, 18 songs on here.
Yeah.
So it just shows, and I could rank every single one of these and every single one of yours in my top 10.
Yeah, and that math is anonymous with
synonymous, whatever.
No, that was fun, and I could talk about this all day, but I'm not good about talking about country music, unless we're listening to it, drinking Millers or whatever.
That's just that's the dream.
I guess we'll have to do that. I guess we'll just have to hit record 1 minute. Saturday night, 6:09 p.m. Villanova's taking on Kansas, but the most important game maybe ever. Not ever. The most important game of this March Madness tournament is 8:49 p.m. Eastern time. 8-seeded UNC's taking on 2-seeded Duke. Duke's the 4-point favorite. Over-under is 151. Pretty high scoring battle, pretty close battle we're looking at here. Duke is entering their all right, let's run through this.
Yep.
UNC versus Duke. History. ACC championship tournament wins. Duke 21, UNC 18. Everything else, UNC pretty much has Duke in. Championship 6-5. Final 4 appearances 20-16 UNC. Head to head, I believe it's 141-115. It's something around there. That website
did you count that out yourself?
No, it might have been that website might have been from earlier in the year. Either way, it's right around there, and UNC has the matchup from 1949 to 2019.
A long time.
Over 179 games played. UNC scored 13,581 points, and Duke scored 13,559 points.
A lot of points.
That is 22 points difference in 179 games. You know, people say Paolo Banchero is the best player left in the tournament, which is pretty impressive because
he is
all blue bloods.
Insane. So Duke obviously played Michigan State. That's who outed us in the tournament. But he was unbelievable. And the way they play, Wendell Moore is good too, and Mark Williams, they're all going to be top picks. But the way that Paolo plays basketball is just, he's so big and he's so athletic. He's a freak. Mm-hmm. And I really didn't think anything of this Duke team heading into the Michigan State game. And hell, we only lost by 5. But the way he played, that was it. He shut the door, and he's been doing that all tournament.
One guy that shut the door on the Cinderella story was Armando Bacot.
It's ridiculous.
20 points, 22 rebounds. That's a double.
It was
right. That's like a Logan Larson versus
2 rebounds. Come on, in college, that's crazy.
And this factors right into my keys to the tournament.
Ooh.
Which is rebound, no stupid threes, get foul calls. I think rebounding has been
it's so important.
Teams that have been getting what I call O-Reebs, offensive rebounds, are just taking control of their preventing droughts, they're preventing runs against, and they're controlling. You control the game with offensive rebounds. You control the game with rebounds in general, but then you can control the droughts and runs with offensive rebounds.
Offensive rebounds are so important in the game of basketball that nobody talks about. It's ridiculous. The amount of I don't know if there's a stat, but the team that wins the offensive rebound battle has to have a great percentage for winning games.
It's going to be crazy because Coach K is going to just be ready for anything. He'll have his guys ready for anything. One thing I mentioned the Duke 4-point favorite right off the bat because in the last 10 matchups between these two teams, UNC is 8-2 against the spread. So they're likely to cover if you're looking at that. I'm not a betting man. I'm not allowed to bet on this game per NCAA regulations. I love the NCAA. It's so fun.
I don't have any luck, so that's
70 the so UNC 8-2 against the spread the last 10 against Duke. They've covered all 4 March Madness games so far. 77.5 points per game in their last 12 games, and they only have 1 loss in their last 12 games. And they killed St. Peter's, who was on a tear, who beat Purdue, who upset Kentucky. And last time Duke and UNC played, who won? Who won in Coach K's last home game?
UNC, baby.
UNC. So I'm picking them to cover. I think to win too. Like I said, not betting. And they've never met in the tournament before. So this is crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
This is exactly how you want to write it up.
And yeah.
As not a Duke fan, I would like to have Coach K go out with a nice little hip check. Hey, thanks. That was fun. That was fun. We have 6 titles, you have 5, and we're about to get another. And I have Kansas UNC. And
I got UNC as well. I think Coach K isn't going to beat UNC. I think UNC is playing too well right now. But I got Villanova on the other side of the bracket, and I've got Villanova winning it all.
I think I have Kansas winning it all because I originally had Purdue, Kansas in my championship. That's the only team I've had left for pretty much the whole season.
That's Villanova for me. That's the only team I've had for a long time.
I'm so sick of Jay Wright.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so sick of Bill Self.
Gosh, Tracy Wolfson's like, oh my gosh, Jay Wright, how are you so good at what you do? Well, blah, 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 we didn't do that well, but you did that well. Oh, well, blah, 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 we need to win the game. It's only halftime, Tracy. But you're Jay Wright.
I'm sick of Bill Self, if that makes you feel any better.
That's fair. Very fair.
But yeah.
Beat Duke.
Beat Duke.
Go Tar Heels. I think. Well, wait. Time out. Pull up your Final Four. Pull up your original Final Four.
My original Final Four.
I will too. I'm pulling mine up right now, right here on the Tourney Challenge app.
This should be.
I have 560 points for those keeping score at home. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
This weekend, I have Purdue beating UConn and Kansas beating Illinois.
Nice.
How long have Illinois and UConn been out?
Forever.
I predicted the final score of the championship to be 70-63. That could be
that could happen.
That could happen.
All right, let me see this. Hold on, I'm pulling it up now. Sorry for the delay. My Final Four was Gonzaga versus Baylor and Villanova versus Wisconsin. And Baylor was out second round.
Oh, Gonzaga.
Gonzaga was out in the
fake new blood. Fake.
Wisconsin, they lost to Iowa State. So
I'm fourth in one of my bracket groups, but I mean I have Purdue winning, so
yeah.
But hey, they have UConn and Gonzaga winning, so who knows?
Who knows?
A lot of Gonzaga fans up top here. See Gonzaga. I keep telling everybody, when are you going to start listening?
Not right now.
They come up short.
I'm 7th in my bracket, so.
But what are you in the family bracket? I think or my dad might have taken over the family bracket. Vera, my beautiful girlfriend, the Georgia State over Gonzaga didn't work out too well for her in round 1, 16 versus 1.
Unfortunate.
So yes, she is in the basement of, that smaller bracket pool. Come on. I'm second. Yeah, to my dad. Yeah, I think he's gonna beat me. Although I think we all had Purdue besides Mary, who goes
the
to
one
Purdue.
That goes there. Yeah.
But hey, she was right.
Yep.
Shout out to the Purdue Exponent, their student newspaper, for publishing a letter to the editor saying to fire Coach Painter.
Come on.
It was a letter to the editor. It wasn't them, and it got clicks. And
Okay, yeah, true. I
it's
get
hard
that.
for a
This
student
industry is
newspaper.
so.
And it wasn't them. It wasn't them. It's a student newspaper. They got publicity. Hopefully they get some follows, and hopefully, someone gets a job because they got noticed because somebody clicked on that and then clicked on a student article.
Yep. Speaking of follows, you can follow us on Twitter at OJ.
At OJ in the morning, Instagram at Owen and Johnny in the morning.
That's us.
Hey, interact with us there. Let us know what's up. Next week we're gonna have a fun rank 'em.
Rag 'em.
Gonna be a little tastier. That's your only.
It will be tastier. And we got baseball.
Yep, that rank 'em will be right in the middle of our MLB and Red Sox specific season preview. I can't wait to not look at as great as the weather is down in Arizona and Florida right now.
Can't wait to stop. I can't do spring training anymore.
I can't look at spring training dingers anymore.
Nope.
I really couldn't at all because spring training was delayed, and
I could today because Story's debut, but otherwise I can't.
You know what I could look at actually was Story got a hit off of Nathan Eovaldi.
He did.
And that is what
Markel Mayer too.
You ask any of these guys, would you rather have, travel across Florida and have 2 at bats and then sit against the Mets in spring training, or would you rather stay in Fort Myers and get 8 at bats against Eovaldi, not Hauk's been pitching in spring training, but any of these dudes, Matt Barnes, whoever, thrown at the site. And they're all going to, get at bats against Evo, get at bats against whoever's at the site versus who's on the mound. And Hauk's been, I'm not sick of that.
No, I'm not sick of watching him throw sliders. It's ridiculous.
Because as long as he stays healthy, then Sale's going to get in here. We'll talk about all of this next week. And I keep bringing this up. Are we going to, we should just create a blog. We just need to write some articles. It'll be articles. It won't really be a blog. It's going to be formal. It's going to be for the resume. It's going to be, but it's also like we need to write some stuff, and we'll fill out some Red Sox previews there as well. But yeah, this weekend is it's going to be cool. My birthday weekend, of course. So Millers are to be had.
To be had.
And you're going to be working on my birthday weekend. So what a good co-host you are.
Sorry, buddy. All right, y'all.
Right.
See ya.
Thanks for watching.
And Johnny OJ, baby, in the house.